I just wanted to talk about paradigm shifts. So, paradigm shifts, I don't know the actual definition, but it's essentially when your whole world, the way that you perceive the world, the way that you view the world, shifts, it changes. And I don't know how many I've had at this point, how many paradigm shifts I've had, but I feel like probably every few months because I'm constantly reading, I'm constantly learning and connecting with different types of people, even people that I don't necessarily agree with, just to give me other forms of context. And I'm reading this book called Retire Young, Retire Rich by Robert Kiyosaki, and it's been honestly so amazing. And one of the aspects that he talks about is this aspect of like expanding your context. And it's amazing. It really is. Like when you think that one thing is one way, but it's really a different way, especially when it has to do with like money and freedom and love and I guess your worthiness of it. And I was also watching this thing by Bob Proctor, and I'm just name dropping at this point. You need to be looking these people up, like YouTube them, watch some of their videos. It's amazing. And I just been continuously learning and expanding my, what he says, context. Like recently, last year, I started reading the 4-Hour Work Week, but I didn't finish it. But just the few pages that I was reading, I was just like, it just started broadening my mind, because sometimes we think that we want something specific, but in actuality, like in the context of the entire situation, we may actually just want something way bigger. And I think we're also taught this idea that we have to be content where we are and with what we do, which I think is important. We do need to be grateful for things as far as where we're at, to just kind of like ground us. But that doesn't mean that we don't like shoot for the moon, shoot for space, because you know space is ever expanding, and like want so much more out of life. For me, it really fuels the work that I do and the impact that I want to make and the purpose that I'm living in this season. I think a lot of that has to do with expanding your context or dreaming big, right? And like even the aspect of dreaming big may seem like one different aspect, but really there's like a whole other world and a whole other way of how you even view the world to ultimately, you know, like get to your desired outcome. And even that desired outcome, because you haven't expanded your context and expanded your awareness, it expanded like who you want to become, is completely different. You know, it's amazing. So especially those that, similar to me, that have grown up, you know, in poverty in different situations and just all these different types of living situations, really growing our awareness of like context and like what really is out there, what really can I do to have fun, to be fulfilled, to be living in my purpose. Like what are some of the options? I think just thinking about that and just becoming more aware of it completely changes your dynamic, and it expands, you know, your awareness and what you're even working towards while you're working. You know, you may think, oh, I'm working so that one day I can have a business. Okay, but what do you want to do with that business? You know, and how do you want to move forward in that business? And like outside of working, this idea of working and jobs and business and all this other type of stuff, like, do you want to go travel? Do you want to see the world? Like, who do you want to travel with? You know, do you want to get married one day? I mean, those are extremely important goals as well. Do you want to, you know, skydive one day? Do you want to hang cliff in, I don't know, Cancun, Mexico? Like, do you want to go backpacking across Australia? Like, what do you want to do? Like, how do you want to do it? Like, there's this whole world. And sometimes we just get stuck in like where we're at. And unfortunately, some years passed, and just there in this cycle of things. And I think it's important to really like recognize that and be like, you know what, actually the life that I want to create doesn't look anything like anybody else's that I've ever seen. There's different elements of this, there's different elements of that, different elements of over here, over there, and just start like, crafting it, putting it on paper, drawing it out. I mean, get creative, paint it out. I mean, yes, I think we need to spend more time doing that, broadening our awareness of the context and completely shifting our paradigm. And I'm consistently challenging myself, literally every single day, and just marinating in it. Like, wow, how bigger can I dream today?